The Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County has clubs in Lacey, Olympia, Rochester, Tenino, Tumwater, and Yelm that welcome all school-aged kids of our county. Their CEO, Chris Woods, is back on the show to give us an update on how the Boys and Girls Club has maintained their programs throughout the pandemic. Hi, Chris. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for having me.
So you guys are open. How many kids are enrolled in the club now?
Currently, we're at about 50% capacity, so we're serving between 250 to 300 children at all 7 of our clubs in Thurston County.
So is there a cap on the amount of kids in each facility?
Yeah, it really depends on the size of the facility because we have to follow the health department guidelines, which limits us to 20 people per group. That includes staff and children. And they have to be social distance 6 feet apart with masks on. So you can imagine that we can only have a group of 20 in a space that's large enough to have 20 people socially distanced. And so most of our groups range between 12 to 15 in size. And then you've got multiple rooms at each club. And so the size in that room really depends on the square footage and the club itself.
Is the demand greater than the ability for you to accommodate? Are you have more people trying to get into the club than you can accommodate?
Definitely.
Oh, wow.
We have more families that would love to bring their children to the clubs. However, we're just not able to accommodate them right now, given the guidelines that we have to follow to be safe and keep staff safe. But under normal circumstances, we'd be able to serve them, but right now we're just not able.
So how do you determine who gets to be in the club and who's not in the club?
Yeah, it's tough. It really is first come, first served.
Okay.
When we do our registration. And then we try to work with families on a week-to-week schedule. And so we ask families to commit to a week. And then we've got a waiting list. And so if we know that a family's not going to be coming for a particular week or weeks, then we can go back to that waiting list and we can pull some families in for at least those weeks that we have openings, or as space becomes available, we're able to add. But it's tough. It really does come down to first come, first served. And really, we're serving those children of essential workers and first responders. Everybody that's coming to our club, you know, their parent or guardian or grandparent that takes care of them has to be working.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the masks and the social distancing. What other protocols are in place to keep them safe? Like you have hand sanitizer, you make them wash their hands, you take temperatures. What else do you do?
Yeah, definitely. Every morning when they come in, a series of questions that we ask them, which are becoming pretty routine, I think, in a variety of workspaces. And then we take their temperature as well, and they have to be wearing a mask. Our parents are not coming into the clubs, just the children. Parents are dropping them off at the door so that we can limit the number of people actually coming into our club. And so aside from the health screening, when they come in, a tremendous amount of cleaning, hand sanitizer. Oftentimes, as kids are getting ready to move from one station to the next, you see them lined up 6 feet apart, and the staff members coming by with hand sanitizer, and that's even after they've cleaned the station before they rotate to the next one. So, a lot of protocols put in place during this pandemic.
Is it difficult to get the kids to accommodate the protocols, like to wear the masks, to do the social distancing? Are you constantly telling them, hey, put your mask back on right, stay away?
You know, the kids are great. They, they want to follow the rules. They want to do what they're being asked to do. And oftentimes, they're the ones reminding others to follow the procedures. And so they do a great job. Occasionally, you're having to talk to kids about their masks, because it might be hanging down on their chin, or they may not be wearing it correctly. But by now, kids know the routine, and they're really good about following our rules and expectations, and so is the staff. I give those kids a lot of credit, especially our tiny ones. Our kindergarten age kids having to get used to wearing a mask every day. It's tough, but they're doing a great job.
Are they attending virtual classes while they're at the club? And do you help them with that? You help them get logged in or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. Every one of our clubs is spending at least the first half of the day assisting children in their schooling. And so all those kids have Chromebooks, and so they're accessing their classes, whether it's elementary age and they're with one teacher the entire time, or our middle schoolers and high schoolers where they're in different classes. But our staff is there to support them. Sometimes it's sitting next to children, particularly the younger ones. You can imagine, again, having a little one sit in front of a screen and pay attention for an extended period of time. So our staff is helping with that. And then we typically do the schooling education portion all the way up until lunch. And then occasionally we've got some kids, some of the older ones that might need to attend some classes in the afternoon, but for the most part, we transition into our regular programming in the afternoon so we can get the kids up and moving and interacting and doing some other activities besides being on a computer.
What do the activities look like where they have to stay 6 feet apart? I mean, are there sports that they can play in the gym?
Yeah, we've got to get real creative about the activities that we do because you just take for granted those regular games that maybe include a ball that you're passing around. Now we can't do that. So a lot of activities where we're trying to get them exercising and moving around that don't involve passing equipment from one person to the other without it being cleaned, and arts and crafts where we can socially distance them at the table, but they can be creative and be doing some hands-on activities, and then getting them moving around in gym spaces where they can spread out and take turns. Maybe it is shooting baskets with, one child for a little bit, and the others are doing something different and just rotating through different activities. So we've got to get really creative, but by this time our staff, they've really done a fantastic job of creating activities that allow kids to be socially distanced and allow them to be safe.
Well, tell us about the Adopt a Club family holiday program.
This is fun. Typically what we do each year is we have one club location and we rotate it where we have a holiday dinner. And we provide it and provide some great gifts and things like that for families. Any of our families that we serve in Thurston County are invited. This year, we're having to do it a little bit different. And so we're looking at doing something at each one of our clubs where families get to actually take home food and meals and gifts. And so it's going to be more of a drive-through type setup, and we're working with a lot of the local businesses and some donors in the community to make sure that we're able to provide a meal for them and provide some great gifts for them during the holidays. And this is in addition to our normal Adopt a Family program that we're doing as well, that we'll continue to do that as normal.
Well, what are some of the other ways that the community can help the Boys and Girls Club?
Even during this time, we're looking for volunteers. It's great because North Thurston School District, some of their bus drivers come for a couple hours and volunteer at the club. Obviously, we do the volunteer forms and do background screening, and they've got to do the health assessment coming in. We've also had some Olympia firefighters come volunteer their time to sit down with kids and help them with schoolwork. Right now, we're really finding that sitting down in that one-on-one or small group time where you're really able to help children work on their school lessons is huge. That's a big part, but we also know that not everybody feels comfortable doing that. And so in those cases, people can help by donating supplies. for the clubs, whether it's arts and crafts or other types of activities that we can do and do them socially distanced. Donate to our holiday meal program, donate to our Adopt a Family program, or just make donations to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Thurston County. And then we're able to use that to offset costs, particularly during this time. We've been open since March 18th, full days, and serving about 50% of the children, but still employing 100% of the staff. It's an expensive model, but it is well worth it, and we are glad that we're able to stay open.
Now, in normal times, you have an annual fundraiser. I don't remember what time of year that is, or even what it's called. What does it look like for this year? Is it coming up, and what's going to be different this time?
Well, we've had two. In the spring, we had our Foundation for the Future breakfast, and it was virtual. And John Curley was our host, and it went very well considering our first time ever doing a virtual event. Normally, we've got 500 to 600 people at St. Martin's Pavilion for a live program and breakfast. And so this was very different. And then in September, we had our Born to Be Wild auction, which was also virtual. And again, we normally have 500 to 600 people coming to St. Martin's on a Friday night, bidding on a number of great items, having a good time, providing a meal. So we had to do things very different, and it was really successful. And we had a lot of people tune in, very generous. We ended up raising nearly $400,000 that night for the Born to Be Wild auction, which was amazing.
That's good to hear.
To do a virtual event and to raise that kind of money for our organization, we were just very fortunate to have that kind of support.
I'm glad it was a success. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you go today?
I think the only thing I would add is just that we feel very appreciative and the support that we've gotten from the community because we've been open the entire time. I think people have noticed, and people are asking us how they can support, how they can partner with us. That's appreciated. I know the YMCA also providing childcare. They've done a fantastic job. And we know that there aren't enough of us in the community to offer childcare to meet the demand. And we wish there were, but we feel fortunate that we can be open, that we can work with 6 different school districts in great partnerships, but also work with other nonprofits and those serving youth like YMCA. We just feel really fortunate that we're able to have our doors open during this time, because very easily we could have been told no. And then we would have a lot of families that need places for their children. So just a lot of gratitude, and we're feeling very fortunate.
And it doesn't seem like you've had any disastrous outbreaks or anything like that since March.
No, we've had one case,
okay.
And it was a great opportunity for us to work with the school district, the health department. Everything went as planned as far as protocol, procedures, and we could not have been more pleased with the response from the health department, from the school district that we worked with. Everything went the way it was supposed to, and we were able to then continue on with business as usual and making sure that everybody was safe. But that's just because of some careful planning and preparation leading up to it, and in conjunction with school districts and the health department. Other than that, our children and our staff have been safe. They've been healthy. They've been coming every day.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for what you do.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Robert, for taking the time to talk with us.
For more information on how to sponsor a family, please visit their website at bgctc.org or email info@bgctc.org. You can also reach them by phone at 360-956-0755. If you have any suggestions for something we should cover, please send me an email, rkam@tcmedia.org. Stay updated with Thurston Community Media, and stay safe, Thurston County.